Alrighty, welcome to today's end of day recap. This is Christian Fromhert, CEO of Tribeca Trade Group, and looking at the S&P, a little bit of a run into the meeting of the White House meeting regarding the tax plan today. So sometimes these things happen. You kind of run into events a little bit. Expectations are high, and then it's a sell the news event today. So I think that's what that was basically today. I really don't, they were just talking about this on CNBC. I don't really read too much into this stuff, in regards to whether the market is really expecting so much out of these plans. I think for today it was a little bit. I didn't really understand why we were rallying so much, but understood that there was an event this afternoon. Other than that, I think we're really moving on what the earnings have been. They've been very strong so far. So I echo that very much. I think anything that comes out of the administration will be viewed as a plus at this point. You look at the earnings the last couple of days, and they have been extremely, extremely strong. Except for today. Today they were a little bit weak. There was a couple of dingers in there as well. U.S. Steel was weak today, but all in all, the earnings reports have been strong. So I'm going to talk a little bit about tomorrow's earnings in just one second, but let's just go over the technicals. We do look a little bit, we do look like we might be a little bit exhausted here. You see some long tails on some of these, or long wicks on some of these candles. That usually, for me, usually means that we're running out of steam for the time being, which is fine, which is fine considering the move that we've had the last couple days. Small caps, continue to lead. Again, you got a really long wick on that candle today, so we did reach an all-time high. This picture does look better than it was. I mean, this thing could have been a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. I don't think that that's the case anymore. I think now that we're breaking out, and a lot of things are breaking out. If you went through the new high list last night, it was ridiculous. So that just shows that there's strength and there's a lot of good market breadth. Is this going to be a straight path up? No. The market ebbs and flows, and there's going to be knee-jerk reactions to things. So I think you just want to be cognizant of when we start to get overbought. If you look at the RSI, we're not overbought yet. So while the last couple of days has been awesome in terms of price action, we're not overbought. But I wouldn't be surprised if we pause a little bit. So especially tomorrow. So just looking at the three major indices, I think we're okay. The Nasdaq also, which has just been a beast, kind of paused a little bit today. It does concern me that some of these names have run into the earnings so much. So, for example, tomorrow we get a bunch of names that report tomorrow morning. It's going to be a very busy morning, but then it gets even busier after the close tomorrow, which is Thursday. There's 30% of the Nasdaq that reports tomorrow after the close, so that scares me a little bit. That we have so many big chunky names that are reporting. You got Google, Microsoft, Amazon. Intel, Intel hasn't been a great performer on earnings, but really the top three, and the fact that Google and Microsoft have already broken out ahead of earnings tells me that they're going to have, we could look at a couple of these charts, but Google going into earnings, I mean, this is kind of what happened last time. It ran into earnings and it sold off. So and I said this last quarter as well, it did the same thing here as well. It has a pattern, Google, of running into earnings, and then, it's not that the earnings report is that bad. It's just that it's made such a move, and it's doing the same thing here. So what this means, it's going to have an absolute killer blowout report for this to go higher at this point. So if we get the same kind of report that we've had the last couple quarters, it may sell off, or it may at least hang around where it's at. So I think that speaks, from the past action could be representative of what we get tomorrow. Same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft has broken out. We've seen a lot of call buying this week in Microsoft, but again, it's done this before, right on earnings. It looks like it did gap up on earnings and then fell back. So I'm kind of thinking that that may happen. That's my feel right now. So I'm not going to be playing any upside plays in Microsoft or in Google tomorrow. I could tell you that much. Amazon is a little bit different story. It broke out weeks ago and has kind of just been sitting here for the last 2 weeks. This one I might give a go to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of other plays as well. So that's just a quick wrap up on some of the earnings plays. In terms of option activity, if you haven't figured it out already, I'm beat. Just a lot of option plays that we have. What happened here? A lot of option plays. What's wrong with this? That we're very noisy today. What happened here? Uh, Sorry, let me just get adjusted. There we go. That's better. Like I said, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit beat. There's just a ton of option activity today, but a lot of it revolves around earnings. So you really had to cipher out some of these plays to say, okay, this name's reporting in a couple days, because it really depends on your tendency for how long you want to own these names. For me, I don't necessarily just want to just own it for a day trade. I like to own things a little bit longer than that. Of course, I like to take profits that day, but if need be, I like to hold some of my plays for longer than a couple days. So you really had to take a look, and that's what we've been doing the last couple of days. Every time there's an aggressive play that comes up, oh, well, the name reports tomorrow morning. Oh, the name reports after the close. So it becomes, hey, how long do you really want to own these names? But that being said, well, I've got a lot of names on here, and actually I didn't include a lot of names because you just couldn't. You would have had a list of over 50 names today on the call side. It was just a bit ridiculous. Puts as well, but RFP, real nice name. I've been long this name in cash for the last couple weeks. Same thing with Lumber Liquidators. Just huge moves today. Let me see if I can get this right again. There we go. Uh, so Lumber Liquidators continues to move higher here. Just took out a VPOC, one of those purple lines. Notice that it kind of usually after a name hits a VPOC, sometimes it retreats a bit from there. Sometimes it backs away quite a bit. Let's see if that does that. But they came after Lumber Liquidators a couple times today. So really strong move. It was up 6%. We also saw some Mylan Labs calls. So I went into this one. I didn't really hesitate. I was looking for a day trade. So nice moves this one, and I was literally just in this one for a couple hours, and that was it. I held the last piece here. Once we get the sell signal, the moving averages crossing below one another, I said that's it. Fine. I caught this right off the open this morning. What was the other one that we traded today? First Solar. Also, another real aggressive trade that came in today. So there were some really good trades out there. This was not a huge trade for me. This is a difficult name to play in options because the implied volatility is so high. So this was not a huge trade for me, but man, crushed it on this one. I think in terms of profits, let's see what I got here. What was my last exit in this one? Once 180, I think 180, and bought that for 120 this morning, out for 180. So some real nice moves in this one. I also put on a Huntsman trade. I did put on one earnings trade today, which looks like this one's not going to work for Amgen. That's okay. I've been on fire with earnings plays. We went long Win yesterday. We went long CMG, which still remains to be seen if that'll be a winner. But I actually sold a put spread in Win and bought a call spread. So we've been really doing very well in earnings. This one doesn't look like it's going to work, but that's okay. You can't. Every trade is not going to be a winner. I like the HUN trade today. There was also some staples that went up aggressively, which again, the chart. We talked about this earlier in the trading room. Do I like the company? In terms of the fundamentals and staples. No, not necessarily, but the chart looks pretty strong to me. Let me just make sure this has got candlestick on it. As long as it's above these moving averages, I want to give this a shot. My stop will be a little bit down here, which could hurt a little bit in terms of that stop. I actually have the stop is the 20-day moving average, which is not on here. But again, you go to the last couple of years, and you can see that this thing could do some retracement here, which is what I'm looking for in that name. And they went in there a couple times and they sold puts and bought calls. There was about 4,000 puts that looked like they were sold, and some calls that looked like they were bought going out to September. I would say probably the trade of the day, the biggest trade of the day, was this NSC trade today. I believe this was $1.7 million in option premium, going all the way out to January 2019. So I looked for a while at the chart, did some analysis, and I decided for the time being that I would give this thing a shot, not going out to 2019, but I went out to January 2018 and used the implied move of the options to put on a call spread. So a couple trades today. I do usually trade a little bit smaller size once I think that we're getting, once we've had such a nice run the last couple days. So I want to always leave myself a little bit of room to add to some positions in case we come in a little bit, especially tomorrow. I think anything could happen with all those names reporting in the morning and all those names reporting after the close. What else? I think this is sorry to bounce around, but a couple interesting things here. Really, I would keep an eye on gold. Gold is right at that 200-day moving average. You look at this in terms of my Thinkorswim charts. This I find really interesting. So gold did bounce nicely today after being probably a little bit, I wouldn't say exactly oversold, but a nice check back from a breakout to the 200-day moving average. I actually like gold here, and you've got your defined support at the 200-day moving average. So I did not put on anything. I played a little bit of gold miners earlier, going into that tax announcement, which worked out really well for a double, which I think that's in here. You can see, so that I'm not making this up. GDX, out of small GDX trade for 43 cents, paid 21. But so take a look. You got the 200-day moving average. You got a break above the 200-day moving average, a check back. Also have the top of value support, and then you have a engulfing candle on support. So I think this will be an excellent opportunity to get long for me. The only thing I don't like is this MACD crossover here, but I'm going to play this to the 200-day moving average. I will probably put that trade on tomorrow. Also, look at the dollar. It's weird that all these things are lining up the exact same way, but the dollar is also on that white line on the 200-day moving average. And then also look at bonds. Bonds did also a similar check back, not quite as positive as gold with engulfing the previous day, but you could see we were in this sideways action for a long time in bonds. You got a break above the sideways range and a check back just like gold, right back into support. Now keep in mind this one's underneath the 200-day moving average. So I would rather be long gold, I think, than bonds here. So there's a couple things to look at. A very big day for tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Plus, you get the NFL draft tomorrow night, so certainly a day full of events. Make sure you get some sleep tonight. And right back at it tomorrow morning. Again, I don't mention the Tribeca Trade Group every day in terms of getting involved with our trading room, but this is what we go over. We go over this every day, all day long, in regard to what trades to take, what trades not to take, and check us out if you haven't joined before. TribecaTradeGroup.com, and you can get involved right here. If you put in the coupon code TTG, you get half off for the first month, and you can get involved in all of our services, which are second to none in my opinion. So thanks very much for watching tonight's video. Have a great night, and see you back tomorrow morning bright and early in the trading room. And again, if you're not familiar with us, we start in the trading room at 8:40 in the morning, review everything in terms of macro movers and in terms of all the earnings names to watch for the day. So thanks again for watching, and have a great night.